Mark, Barb, the Farrells. 20 July 2014, Redemption Boogie, Plattsmouth, Nebraska.
Thanks, Jeff. We're sitting in Jeff's camper here. My name is Mark Farrell, and this is my wife Barb. And I don't know if we have, history. I mean, I know we go back a long ways. Yeah, we do have history.
We have history.
Anyway, I guess a little bit about our story or our skydiving history is, I made my first jump in 1975, and it was 5 static lines and 2 free falls with a 7 TU, and jumps number 6 and 7 were accuracy jumps in Fremont, Nebraska, and we both started with the Omaha Skydivers in Tekamah, Nebraska, and I made the 7 jumps in 75, broke my wrist painting a house, and Barb and I started dating right around that time also, and I never would let her come to the drop zone.
Seriously, you would not let me go to the drop zone?
Just because we jumped at a pretty male chauvinist dominated drop zone. Omaha Skydivers, Tony Fugit, Jim Saunders, Larry Caniglia, some of those guys, really style and accuracy competitors.
So do you remember when I started skydiving, 1977?
Yeah.
They all had a bet out on me, and the highest number of jumps, the highest bet was for 100 jumps, went on to make 3,205.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was Tony that bet on 100 at least. Yeah. At least he got me to 100 before I quit.
But ironically, starting skydiving there was probably one of the better things for us, because they were competition guys, and I think Barb and I, overall are pretty competitive, and it kind of put the focus on us to be good, or to try harder, and be hard on ourselves. So we
and break that 100 jump barrier.
Yeah, break the 100 jump and just make a lot of jumps, and we weren't so much into the style and accuracy, or at least the style part. We did accuracy pretty well, and it was obviously round parachutes, and but we, our first 300 jumps were up there with those guys, and we went to a lot of meets. We went back, that was the days of the conference meets, and we'd go to South Dakota, or we'd go to Perry, Iowa, and compete, and
accuracy.
Yeah, and then there was a four-way, in there also, and we kind of tried to excel in the 4-way. But I think Tony Fugit kind of did his best to mentor us.
Yeah, I have nothing good to say about him. He was great. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing but good, I should say.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about him. But anyway, I guess we've kind of spent about 38 years in the sport now. And here we are, 2014, at the Redemption Boogie. And, I've got over 6,000 jumps. And like Barb said, 3,205, because she made one today after a 17-year hiatus from the sport.
Today?
Jumping. Yeah, well, she made it Friday.
I made one Friday, yeah.
She made a tandem jump after 17 years, after the injury that kind of took her out.
But the good thing about that is we just didn't do any tandem. We did a 13-way, because if you're going to do it, you're going to go big. It was the largest jump my tandem instructor had ever been on, either with a tandem or without a tandem. So that was pretty fun. There was no one on the dive hardly, except for one person, Nick Roulette, who hadn't started jumping in 1997 or before. So it was all some of the old Camp Casual people. It was just a riot. I can't stop smiling. Might have to make it an annual.
Yeah, and actually it was Nick Roulette that kind of instigated the thing. I mean, Barb had always wanted to make one more jump after the injury 17 years ago, but having a broken ankle and the injury sustained, the doc said it's kind of like a retread, so, use your own judgment. And, you don't go very far in retread, so she didn't want to damage it. So, she's always kind of been around skydiving, and is a lifetime member of the Lincoln Sport Parachute Club, and where we've hung out for the last 35 years. And but it was a grand event. Nick the son of Sandy Grillette, was just a kid, you know, when we were skydiving. I mean, we watched him grow up, and once he started skydiving, you know, he kind of looked around. He goes, you know, all the old timers, you know, Obie Taylor is kind of retired, and some of the Camp Casual people have since faded away and, you know, passed away and have quit jumping, other than a few of us. So he kind of planted the seed with Barb, and so
it took 2 hours.
2 hours, which is actually, that's a long time in your time clock.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, you know, some of the things in our life of skydiving that were memorable, we feel that, you know, we kind of had a whole core group of people in the Midwest that, you know, we all went by the name of Camp Casual, and, you know, if there was a boogie within 500 miles, we were at it, and, you know, had a group of people, a core 12 to 16 people probably that traveled and partied and just, you know, became really, really good friends and made really quality skydives. You know, we had our own photographer,
Dave Becker
out of Minnesota. You know, and the unique thing is that, you know, we're all from just diverse backgrounds and
different states.
Yeah, Colorado and Iowa and Minnesota and Nebraska
and about
Kansas and Missouri and
about 50% women.
Yeah,
which was a big deal back in the 70s and 80s, and even into the early 90s, where half the people in the dives were women. So I think that was a big deal.
Exactly. And but anyway, you know, we think the museum is a great idea, and hopefully, you know, you get other people to tell their little bit of, you know, their claim to fame or their skydiving story, and you know, and we all kind of hope to one day kind of be eternal and just keep skydiving. So I like the name of the museum, and the people that have kind of gone before us. It's sad, you know, we got a lot of friends that are gone, but we still have a lot of friends here, and that we, you know, just love doing what we're doing.
With 3 minutes left,
yep, I was going to tell you.
Do you have a story that's really cool that is now you can tell it?
Yeah, you know what? For me, I mean, whether it's the Bigfoot story, whether it's the story about the Freak Brothers that we went through, Bigfoot to me I think is very memorable. Mark and I came from a style and accuracy drop zone, and one day we're looking, and by the way, we had to each do 200 to 300 jumps on a round. Then we couldn't have, like, we had to have belly mounts. So anyhow, one day we're looking through the USP magazine, and there's this funky looking guy with a big toe in the middle of Wisconsin. We looked at each other and we go, wonder what that is. And so somehow we figured out it was called Bigfoot. So here we come. I got 200 jumps.
Yeah, Bob Schermeyer told us about it.
Yeah. So here we come. I got 200 jumps. Mark's got 250. And we're in the middle of a cornfield. In the middle of this cornfield is this plane, DC-3, taking off and landing. And we'd never jumped out of a DC-3. And we're looking at it. Our mouths are open. And Bob Schermeyer, bless his heart, he came up and he goes, you two look lost. Now let me show you how to do this. So we got our gear on, we're walking the plane, he pours the beer into each of our glasses. We go, oh, you can't drink and jump. Oh, no. And he goes, yes, you do. And you gave us each a beer. We climbed in the plane.
Not drink.
We got in that DC-3. Oh, my goodness, we were hooked. And we'd lay there. I mean, seriously, we'd make 10 jumps a day, and then you'd lay in this cornfield and look up, and people were just jumping. And there's, like, usually 10 to 13 cutaways a day. I think that's because of kind of some of that beer we used to do. But I loved it. So we got Camp Casual, you got Bigfoot, the women's world records. We used to go to Freak Brothers, and one day somebody'd say, let's do a women's world record. I thought a women's world record because it was just all the women at the drop zone, and we started with the 32 way, then went to the 60 some way, to the 70 some way, and they were a lot more casual. You didn't have to fill out forms, you didn't have to do all that. They said, you're a good skydiver, let's get together and do a world record. I guess I could keep going on and on, but one of the most memorable things I think that came out of skydiving for me was lifelong friendships. We're sitting here with Jeff. We are sitting here with people, and even though I haven't jumped for 17 years, that wanted to skydive on a tandem with me. Really, a tandem? How boring is that, right? But we have friends that don't skydive anymore, and they're dear friends, and we see them in all other aspects of our lives. So it has brought so much love and friendship for me. How about you, hon?
Exactly. I mean, I echo the same thoughts and same feelings. And I couldn't imagine life without it. So,
And we're honored to be here being interviewed. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
so blue skies.
Thank you.
Black Death.
Guys.